Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to install the 4-inch curved Nerf bars from Ionic Automotive on the 2021 and up Ford Bronco. The tools we'll be using for this installation are a ratchet and small extension, along with a 14mm and 16mm socket. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're starting off underneath the vehicle on the driver's side. We're just behind the driver's side front tire. When we come back, we're gonna pass our body mount bolt and then come along the rocker panel. We're gonna come back here, we're gonna find 2 threaded holes. Now, if those holes are covered with either plugs or bolts, you wanna remove that first, or if you've got the factory rock slider, that needs to come off before we can go any further. Next, what we're gonna do is locate our driver's side front bracket. Now this is going to be a mirror image of the passenger side front bracket, so all of these tabs right here need to be bent facing towards the front of the vehicle. But that's going to line up to both of these holes. Now let me show you the hardware we're going to use to put that in. So in our kit we're going to have some larger bolts that they're an M10 bolt that are fitted for these holes. We're also going to have a lock washer and a flat washer for each one of these bolts. So what we're going to do is get this put in place, just hand tight for right now. We want to make sure it stays hand tight, because as we're tightening down and lining up the running board to the bracket, we want to make sure that we can still wiggle that bracket around a little bit to line things up. All right, so moving along the rocker panel, we're going to come to our center bracket location. Again, we're going to have 2 holes that are threaded from the factory, and we're going to find our center bracket. Now this is driver's side, so all of these tabs are going to be bent facing towards the front of the vehicle. We're going to use the same hardware as what we did up front with the bolt, lock washer, and flat washer. Get that all threaded on, just hand tight for right now. And just like our center bracket, the rear bracket will have all the tabs folded facing towards the front of the vehicle. We're going to use the same hardware, install it the exact same way. All right, now we have all 3 brackets installed hand tight. Let's go ahead and bring up the board and get everything lined up to the foot of the bracket. All right, now as we bring this board in, something I want to point out is from the end of the end cap to the end of the bar is going to be longer on the front than it is on the back. So that's how you know if you got the front or the rear board. We're going to go ahead and line up our threaded holes that are already inserted into our running board to the brackets. I'm going to start with the center bracket. We're going to use hardware that's included. This is smaller hardware, and it's already got the flat washer and lock washer installed on it. In fact, they can't even come off. So we're going to go ahead and put those on, also hand tight. And we'll want to be able to wiggle the brackets around to get everything lined up. We don't want to tighten anything down until everything is lined up. Go ahead and move up to the front. Take these bolts. All right, now that we've got everything all lined up, we can go ahead and make our final adjustments, get the board exactly where we want it, and once it's in place where we want it, we can go ahead and tighten down all of our hardware. We're going to start with the bolts that hold the bracket to the boards. We're going to tighten that all down with a 13 millimeter, and then we're going to tighten down the bolts that hold the brackets to the body of the vehicle. We're going to tighten those down with a 16 millimeter. Now, down here, because we've got, it's kind of a small location here where we can fit a socket in, it's helpful to use an extension to get the ratchet away from this assembly here. So we're going to use a 13 millimeter. Tighten that down. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten down the brackets to the rocker panel. Again, I'm going to use an extension with a 16 millimeter. Now up in here we won't be able to fit the extension in, so we're going to go ahead and remove it. All right, now we can go ahead and repeat the entire process on the passenger side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online at RealTruck.com.